this is a different type of conversation. This conversation, our next topic, has to deal with AEW versus WWE and the perceived competition and what is now becoming like a monthly chess match when it comes to programming. On September 20th, AEW is presenting All Out, and I believe AEW staked claim to September 20th first, saying this is when we're going to do All Out. Along comes WWE and says, well, if you're going to do All Out on September 20th, we're going to throw in some counter programming called WrestlePalooza, and we're going to go head to head with you. And I believe on Tuesday is when me and you briefly talked about this will be the first time WWE and AEW go head to head same time with two premium live events or pay-per-view, whatever you want to call each event respectively. AEW in the past day or so has now moved the event. All Out will now take place at 3 p.m. And it will happen in Toronto. And then WrestlePalooza will take place at 8 p.m. on September 20th. So there's the details. How do you feel about the move from AEW? Good move, bad move. If you're a fan who planned on going to the show at 8 o'clock at night and then that's what you bought a ticket for, well, now all of a sudden you're not going at 8 o'clock at night and you're going smack dab in the middle of the afternoon. For some people, it could be good. For some people, it could be bad. What is your 30,000-foot take on this entire situation?
If this is all announced a month or two in advance, okay, a couple weeks out, I'm going to, per usual, focusing on the positives. Here's the positives. Hey, this isn't just for the sickos. We know you're wrestling fans all over the world. We're the alternative, but you got some other shit to do. We want to make sure you can see everything. That's the kind of company we are. So we're going to put our time 5 hours earlier so you can watch a day of wrestling if you choose to. If not, we're still going to have a killer show. And we got Adam on or Edge on the poster, and it's a big deal. They have a big match, and like that's the positives of it. If you think about the negatives, think about this. Something when I was back home in Cleveland. Hey, my buddy, you want to go out for a happy hour? Well, I got to get a sitter and my wife's at work. And you go, okay. And then I asked my other friend, I would love to go out with you Saturday, but we have soccer practice at 9 a.m. and there's T-ball at 11 a.m. So think of all those things that you might really easily forget about. And all of a sudden now, this is your big, in this economy, this is your big night out on Saturday. And now you have to switch some plans up. So that might not be great. But the positive spin on it is WWE decided to counter program here. They're going with it, and they're possibly bringing back AJ for the first time in 10 years, and you got a Cena match. It's going to be a big deal. So what we would like to do is to let everyone know that we're the company that listens to the fans, and we're going to give you a chance to check out both. I know it might be inconvenient for some of you, but you got a full day of wrestling if you choose so, and we want you to see our show first and compare it to that and go, why was there 37 matches that tore the house down, and there was 4 on the other show, and now we're letting you know that we are the company for a fan.
I don't think this is so much about the competition of the gate, the amount of people in the building, the actual show. I believe it's for the competition of Monday morning and what people are talking about, stealing the headlines. And this was a huge conversation that me and Dave had months ago about what will these companies do that will force us, and when I say us, I mean me and Dave, because it's me and Dave on Monday mornings. Okay. How are they going to force us? What will they do? Will there be a surprise? Yada, yada. What? We're going to have a gun to our head to have to talk about something. So in your opinion, now that the two shows are split, let's take your positive yet, in my opinion, not very realistic way of thinking from AEW. Like, hey, we'll move our show to 3 o'clock so everybody can watch everything. I respect the positive point of view. I really, really do, because I think wrestling fans need to hear that. They definitely do, and I get it. So, okay, 3 o'clock, we're watching All Out. 8 o'clock, we're watching WrestlePalooza. In your opinion, at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on September 22nd, what are me and Dave going to be talking about?
WWE WrestlePalooza, very likely, and not just there's something subconscious there to where it's, oh, this was day one of WrestleMania and then day two is after it, or this is the afternoon show where it's a little bit cheaper to go see the movies, but the real deal is when the lights go down and everyone knows we're watching the real main event. And then you add in everybody. What is the last thing that you saw and remembered from the weekend? A bloody John Cena begging for his life. Was the match good? I don't know. I don't remember. How was AEW show? Man, there was a shitload of stuff and it was really good. What was your favorite part? I'm just picturing John Cena covered in blood begging for his life. Okay. And I'm paraphrasing and making this up, but that's very easy to be like, what are we talking about? And that's my favorite thing with you or Dave or whoever's lead hosting for the day, is to be like, we're going to talk about what stuck out to everybody, not what I personally liked or didn't like. It's what is everyone talking about this moment right here at 9:58, where I go, holy shit, did they just kill off John Cena? And now we got to talk about it.
Me and Dave were talking about was Saturday night's main event and All In. Because we really didn't think anything that was going to happen from NXT was going to be able to trump what, is that a bad word, by the way? Trump what AEW was going to do it All In. 25,000 people, whatever they had in the house. It looked great. They were putting on their show, yada, yada. So we didn't really talk about NXT, but it's a Saturday night's main event. It's the return of Goldberg. Yeah, what if this happens? What if this happens? And I said to Dave, is there anything that AEW can do? What would AEW have to do? And we really couldn't come up with a scenario. And then lo and behold, here comes Evolution on a Sunday, and Evolution blows everything out of the water. We're not talking, we talked a little bit about Saturday night's main event. We talked a little bit about All In, but we were forced to talk about Evolution because that's what the people wanted to talk about. As you just said, is there anything that AEW can do currently with any of their storylines? And I know we still got like 2 more weeks of development to go. Is there anything that you see that they can do with any of their storylines, any of their stars, anything that can capture the attention of the majority of the pro wrestling universe that we're talking about them on Monday morning?
I don't know. And if nothing's even like jumping to the front of my head, like, oh yeah, if there's a new champion, if this person wins, if this match happens, if this surprise shows up, I can't think of anything like, other than like Sting coming in from the rafters. I can't think of something that we're like, are you effing kidding me? I can't wait to talk about this on Monday. But I do know everyone's already just thinking about what's going down with WrestlePalooza. That's been the dominating the talk. So that makes me go, even if that's a bust, I feel like that's the first thing you talk about, and it's probably not going to be.
Wow, that's pretty profound. Even if WrestlePalooza is a bust, you think?
Yes.
So this is crazy. The WWE commands so much of the headlines that even if WWE sucks, we're talking about them sucking before we're talking about AEW being the greatest show on earth.
In the forefront of my mind leading up to that, other than next week, if something happens and I go, oh, this could lead to this, or this could be a surprise return or a special moment, or someone going off the air with this guy just standing there, or this gal just standing there. Are you kidding me? Like if Mercedes Moné loses her championship, the TNA one, I think it's TBS. If she loses that, that's a huge deal. That is crazy news. She never loses. She has got all these titles. And I feel like that would be really important. But I really feel like no matter what happens, other than, hey, by the way, yeah, even if it's not AJ, we don't get her. I feel like you're talking about that dominated the headlines for 2.5 weeks, and now Rhea just got booed out of the building. And now how do they fix this? Like, I feel like that's first. I really do.
So if you were sitting next to Tony and you had this thing, this obstacle in front of you, or this competition, or this monster breathing down your neck that is the WWE. You've been around for a long time, and you're really, really fucking smart beyond just what goes on in a ring. What would you say to him as far as how do you weather this storm? How do you capture a headline? How do you continue to move forward? Or do you give him the driftwood advice? Driftwood will survive in any ocean because it just goes where the waves take them. And eventually, the driftwood will land on a beach and not have to just float aimlessly anymore, and it'll find a home. What would you say?
If you want to be talked about, if that matters to you, if you want to find a way just to grow just a little bit, find something pop culture, mainstream, big return, something disgusting happens, anything above and beyond and outside of that box of the sickos loving the awesome matches. And then everyone can go, I thought WWE was sports entertainment and AEW was the alternative and gave you all the wrestling matches instead of 40-minute video packages and 4 or 5 matches. Not just the content. You actually get something outside of the box that has, it doesn't have to be this, but social media talking, People magazine talking. Can you believe that on this wrestling show that this happened? And then that is the way to capture it just for a day. And then what happens then is a slow snowball roll of WWE maybe all of a sudden has to go, well, I guess we got to do better than just limping along with a spoonful of sugar each Monday and Friday. We got to throw some other ideas against the wall. And you actually, with whether it's competition or not, actually start to have going above and beyond for both circles. And now you've created what you're not going to get the Monday Night Wars, but you get people going above and beyond to stand out. And then that is where you truly find out. You get some new shit, you get good stuff happening, you get people talking about wrestling, and maybe, just maybe, everyone goes, you know what, AEW is pretty damn good. I'm going to give it a shot.
You just brought up the Monday Night Wars, and what you were explaining about what AEW should do is what Eric Bischoff did do. And he did it so well, he almost knocked Vince the fuck out. What people don't a lot of people might not realize is Vince was, he was on his heels. He was Rocky Balboa, and the match probably should have not continued, but Rocky found a way, and so did Vince. So if you're AEW, is there a lesson to be learned from how Eric was able to do it? Because when I take a look at it and I compare and I look at the history, I was like, Eric was able to match money, if not more, and steal talent and use them correctly or utilize them more to their strengths. Now I look at AEW and I go, Tony can do the same thing money-wise, and has done the same thing money-wise, and has taken talent from the WWE, but I don't believe he has utilized them correctly. Is there a lesson to be learned there? Or is this too broad of a question? Or?
No. There absolutely is, but it all depends. Like what we want and what Tony wants might be two very, very different things.
Completely.
And so with speculation, it's like, oh yeah, would you like to stay around for the next 20 years? You can do that. Would you like to slowly gain an audience by 10% every 6 months because of outside of the box and different things other than I think that's a great idea. I would love to see him flourish, that company flourish even more so. I don't know that that's what I think again, I don't know. But watching, he goes, it's for the sickos, the sickest cards that absolutely deliver. And the last 6 months to a year, there's been some good stories leading into it that I constantly go, this is great. Everybody wanted to see this match. I wanted to see a story that led me to this match to make me want to see it. And now they have both. This is the best of both worlds. This is how you grow an audience and still deliver for the sickos. And if that's what he wants to do, there is absolutely a way to do it. And Eric did it great. Like you said, everyone talks 83 weeks that he was, but even the 6 months before and the 6 months after, like another year of time of almost getting up there with Vince, going back and forth because people were not just getting big contracts. They were throwing stuff against the wall to go, we need this competition makes me get better. And hopefully you at least grow other than just saying, hey, this card has one more match. You say this card has one more story that everybody is fucking talking about. And that becomes where you grow that audience.
And if we take a look at history of people that have either been a thorn in the WWE side or almost put them out of business, ECW was the thorn in the side that was built on characters and stories and entrances with the perception it being all about violence. That was the thorn. Eric and WCW almost puts him out of business because of the characters, the utilizations, and the stories. Hulk Hogan turning heel, the NWO, yada, yada, yada. Neither one of those two companies were a thorn or almost put him out of business because of wrestling matches.
Right.
Wrestling matches didn't fucking matter to ECW and WCW. Yes, you obviously have to have the wrestling matches. Still pro wrestling. We don't know the whole story. But with AEW, that is so heavy on wrestling matches, which the fan base loves, and some of those guys and gals down there are so damn good at what they do. The Ricochets of the world, the Ospreys of the world, the MJFs of the world, the Kennys of the world, the Mercedes Monets of the world, the Harley Camerons of the world, who I think is the most entertaining fucking person on the planet. And she's easy on the eyes, too. You know, she needs another nose job, but, you know, we'll talk about that later. But it's all just wrestling, and wrestling will never compete. It's an alternative, too.
Yeah.
But it will never garner the new eyes that you talked about anywhere. So if I'm somebody in a position, I think I want to learn from history and how a company like ECW is still chanted, or how did a guy like Eric Bischoff almost put Vince out of business? That's just my opinion on it.
And it's really easy. Like, even if you're someone who in 2025 hates Eric's persona on social media because you either love AEW so much or you just don't like him, there is something there, no matter what the case is, business-wise, that says everything you just said. If you want to stand out and win, there is a formula. There's a way to do it. There's always some other way. There's something new. There's some way outside the box. There's something different to stand out, and you can continue dominating with the matches and having everyone going, man, those were friggin' awesome. I'm out of breath, and I was just watching these matches. I'm blown away. But what gets that little notch and actually starts to go, hey, do we have competition here, is bringing in the stories for it and having them, like, you get me, you get you, and the sickos to be enthralled in a story before the big match happens. You've already won, and now you're sinking your teeth into it, and we get to go, I have to watch wrestling on Wednesday. I got to watch Dynamite because I talk about wrestling on Thursdays. Okay, got it. It can get me to, oh, I'm intrigued by this. I can't wait to watch Dynamite on Wednesday because this crazy story where Hook, the lights went out and he's just standing over his dad with a screwdriver and he's holding his eye. Like, I don't know what the hell they're going with, but I got to see Wednesday. I got to check it out. That's a different mindset, and that's what grows.